What is up, guys? I'm your host Gemini, and today I'm going to answer the question, what is Avorion? Now please keep in mind this game is still in early access, so what we are seeing here is definitely subject to change. Avorion is a procedurally generated sandbox space sim in which the player or multiple players build their own ships to fight, mine, explore, trade, build, and of course save the galaxy. Now when I say that it is procedurally generated, I mean everything is procedurally generated. The layout of each galaxy, each ship, every station, and even every single asteroid is unique to your galaxy's seed. In fact, the only similarities you're going to find between the galaxies are the story elements, the faction names, and the crafting and trade materials. If any of this catches your eye, then let's go ahead and break into this game. In Avorion, your main goal is to reach the center of the galaxy. This is where you will discover what event sent the galaxy spiraling out of control in the first place. You start out in a small single-man mining vessel and use this vessel to fly around your starting sector to gather basic materials that will allow you to build your first ship. Your ship requires a couple of parts to function, including thrusters, an engine, crew quarters, and a power generator, but outside of those requirements, you're pretty free to build whatever you like. There are some things to keep in mind, however, as you build. Each block has mass, which will have a direct impact on your acceleration, deceleration, and top speeds. The more mass you have, the larger your engines need to be in order to quickly get you moving, and the more thrusters you're going to need so that you can pitch, yaw, and stop. As you progress throughout the game, you'll find better materials that will allow you to build lighter, stronger, and more powerful ships. These rare materials will allow you to build more subsystems as well, like shields, armor hardeners, and fighter bays, as well as more powerful versions of subsystems that are already in place. Avorion Building Mode is a very powerful tool that allows you to create almost anything that you can imagine. You are able to scale any block up and down to the point that you can create immensely large ships or edit the most minute details. The building mode functions off of a grid system. Once you have founded your ship, you begin building off of a base block. Then you choose what shape you want to place, rotate it if needed, adjust the scale, and click to place. On the left hand side of the menu, you're able to adjust the block placement grid size, which allows you to create an endless amount of variety in how your ship will look or even function. The build mode features mirroring, which can be activated on the X, Y, and Z axes, so that you can easily build a symmetrical part on your ship. If you have a specific part that you want to create a template for, you can do that easily by selecting the blocks that you want to include, pressing Ctrl S on the keyboard, and clicking on an empty template in the block selection menu. Finally, you can completely save a ship by selecting the Save Ship icon, so that if your spacefaring castle becomes space dust, you can easily replace it. After you're happy with your ship, paint it and set off. Once you have built your ship, it is time to add in some systems. You can gather systems either through the market from traders, building them at stations, salvaging them from old ships, or from the hulls of your enemies. These systems range from common to legendary, and they are a vital part to your success. They can boost everything from your maximum speed, the amount of turns you can run, and the shield strength of your ship, down to how far you can jump and what your cooldown on said jump drive is. The amount of systems you are allowed to have on your ship is governed by its mass, so smaller ships will have more defined roles, while larger ships can become the all-powerful carriers of your dreams. Combat in Avorion is much like many other space sim games. Place as many guns on your ship as your systems will allow, activate which set of weapons you desire, point them in the general direction of the enemy, and let her rip. There are different kinds of weapons that range from projectiles to Tesla coils, and each of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. Each weapon comes in differing rarities and material compounds that signify how well a weapon will perform. Some are very high damage with low DPS, and others the opposite so, while some can be set to automatically track and fire at enemies, while others require manual aim. Towards the mid-game, you are also able to hire pilots and employ deployable fighters to do your bidding as well if you prefer the carrier route. Taking or dealing damage, however, does differ from other games in a couple of ways. Different blocks have different HP levels, which means you are able to hide your weak and valuable blocks such as generators behind armor blocks and shields. Each block takes damage independently from those around it, meaning you can safely have your armor shot and not lose any of the vital systems behind that armor. However, if you have a specific part on your ship attached to a block that is destroyed, that part will be broken off and you will lose access to anything on the floating piece. If you take too much damage, you will be sent back to your home system and nothing more than your single-man mining drone. This can be used to the player's advantage. By learning key features of a ship to shoot, you can use them to disable systems or even cripple an enemy craft. What kind of space sim would be complete without mining and trade? Avorion has both and gives plenty of options. In order to trade, at a minimum you need to have cargo space. Once you have ample space to trade in whatever you want, simply dock at a station that sells your good, buy the stock, and deliver it to another station. If you're more of an entrepreneur, then you can choose to build your own stations instead. To build a station, you simply need to build a ship, place it where you would like it to be, and select Create Station. This will bring up a prompt that allows you to select what type of station you would like. From here, NPCs will buy and deliver your stations, making passive money while you are out exploring the galaxy. Mining functions similarly to combat in the fact that you have to place mining lasers on your ship, which are governed by your systems and by their rarity and material type. Mining lasers also have an efficiency stat that will directly affect how much ore you can pull from any given asteroid. The higher the efficiency, the more ore you'll get. As with combat, there are also dedicated mining drones or fighters that you can use towards the mid-game to help speed up mining times. Mining is a staple in Avorion, as you will use it to build new ships and stations, as well as repairing your ships after they have taken damage. The story of Avorion is that an event has occurred in the center of the galaxy which fragmented civilization. An alien race known as the Zotan are connected to this event, and it is left up to the player to collect the Zotan artifacts and make their way to the center of the galaxy. This story will send the player all over the galaxy doing various tasks to collect said artifacts, and will cover almost every mechanic the game has to offer. We are going to go ahead and stop here to avoid spoilers. Avorion also allows for the creation of player-controlled fleets. To create an AI-controlled ship, first you must hire a captain, and then leave your ship. From any other ship, you are able to select that ship under the captain's control and issue orders that include everything from defending the sector and escorting your ship to mining. Currently, the AI in Avorion is not very dependable, therefore fleets are currently not a very cost-efficient way of approaching combat. Acknowledging the game is still in early access, Avorion is a very well-featured game with a lot to offer. There are still some important improvements that need to be made during the remaining development time, such as AI improvements, trade balancing, and various bugs that include fighters launching at 1 HP. But as it stands, the game is fully playable in its current state. Currently, the game is available for $17.99 US on Steam, and according to developers will most likely increase in price once the game fully launches. That launch is scheduled for Q3 of 2017. If you liked what you saw here, please consider leaving a like below and subscribing if you want to see more content like this in the future. But until I see you guys again, thanks for watching and y'all have a good one.